So here's a little tour around our FJ in its state of maximum disassembly. I've got the headliner off and virtually all of the interior plastic is off. Actually, only because I needed to install the CB and the roof lights. So the CB antenna is located on the rear door hinge over here. Here's the mount. It's a Bostech mount and a short little Firefly antenna. Not much to that. But that little guy, the little wire comes out the bottom, the antenna wire down here, and it goes into the door on the other side over here. So I had to install the, where the heck is it? There it is. I had to install the little rubber grommet to put the antenna wire in. And then the antenna wire gets routed down in the interior of the door, which you can see through the clear plastic there, and then comes out this rubber boot, which I had to thread the wire through. That was not a lot of fun, I can tell you. And that rubber boot led the antenna wire to the inside, where I mounted it and ran it up the back, across the top, and then eventually, I got to go around the other side of the car here. Up here, and over, and over, and then down. And up here you can see the wooden block that's there to hold the bracket for the CB radio. That was installed by mounting a couple of powerful magnets in what's now the top of the block, and then gluing it. The magnets acted like clamps. Over here is the power wire for the CB, and that I routed across the top on the driver's side, and then down here to this A-column post on the driver's side, down into the under the dash. You can see I had to take the plastic off all over the place to get all this stuff in. Then underneath, I don't know if this is going to work or not, under the dashboard, but the wires are all routed in there, and then out the front through the firewall into the engine compartment. The roof lights are mounted, you can see them here, the 4 roof lights. Those are mounted on the tubing for the rack, and then each of those I hardwired. I replaced the connector that was there originally and ran it, let's see if I can catch this on the camera, yeah, ran it into the tubing here. Now that I have yet to install the rubber grommet on, but that will have a rubber grommet. The wires then run through the tubing, comes out over here, and then into this little device, which is called a cable clam, that makes a waterproof entry. This plywood's just here for me to sit on, it's not part of the roof rack. That makes a waterproof entry into the cabin. That waterproof entry comes out underneath this metal plate, which I had formerly removed, and then these wires here are the roof light wires. All of that stuff comes through the firewall in here. That's what this bunch of wires are. And the power wires for it are these big, fat 4-gauge wires. All of that stuff terminates on electrical components mounted on this aluminum plate, which I installed. And so all of these relays here and that mess of not yet cable tied stuff with the fuse box and power distribution blocks, all that stuff I added. I had to tap into the ignition wire here to pick up a sense wire for when the ignition was turned on. I'm not sure why it's flashing like that, and the video brightness level's flashing. Oh, I think I was getting the lens in some sunlight there, and that's what I was doing. Here you can see my alternate or secondary battery assembly. This I installed. This battery was not part of the original equipment. It's controlled by this solenoid coil right there. This is the original battery position, although I've replaced the original battery with an Odyssey battery. Same brand, not the same model as the one for my secondary battery. Anyway, all of that was why I had to disassemble the headliner, was to get this wiring up here on the inside. So now I'm getting ready to put the headliner back. I have to do one final power check on the CB radio power, make sure it's good. I've already tested the roof lights, and then I'm ready to button it back up.